welcome back to another Peak District adventure. So I've parked the car today in Baslow and I made my way up to Wellington's Monument, which you can see behind me here. So Wellington's Monument was created by a local man, Dr. Wrench, and he built this to celebrate the Duke of Wellington's victory at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. He also wanted to address the balance because just over in the distance behind the trees is Birchenedge, and standing proud on the top of Birchenedge is Nelson's Monument, a place I visited back in the autumn. So Dr. Wrench wanted to make sure both of those significant achievements were celebrated here in Baslow. So today's walk, I'm now going to make my way over to Big Moor, which is just in the distance there, make my way round onto White Edge before dropping back down onto Baslow Edge, back to the car in Baslow where it's parked. It's a Friday afternoon. I've managed to get the afternoon off work. It's a beautiful day, but I have planned, it's a relatively short walk of around 9 or 10 miles. Hopefully I'll get it in before we lose daylight. Okay, let's see what today brings. So we've got quite a few of these ancient way markings, this part of the Peak District. So just over there is Shillito Woods, where I visited in the lockdown. There's a crossing there, really interesting place to visit. I'm not sure if the zoom range is good enough on this camera to pick it up, but there's a family of red deer over there. This entire area is synonymous with red deer. In fact, Big Moor in the autumn, you can often see the stags rutting. There's a lot of history in this part of the Peak District. Quite a lot of reminders back to the Bronze Age. I've just walked by a stone circle and an old burial mound there. I think there's quite a lot more to be found over on Big Moor. Probably a lot that has yet to be found too. I mean, in this area we're not too far away from the likes of Hobhurst's house, which is a burial mound I visited back in the autumn. And as I've already mentioned, the waymarking crosses over in Shillito Woods and the ones that we've passed today. Quite fascinating really. It does make you wonder what life was like back then. I've definitely become a little bit of a Peak District history nerd over the recent time since I set this channel up. I find it really fascinating. So, I've made it to Lady's Cross, another ancient waymarking on these moors. I can imagine back in the day this being a real source of comfort for a weary traveller. I mean, all around me is open moorland. Obviously there is a road that runs through it that wouldn't have been there back in the day, but it certainly guided me in the right direction, to be honest, from the road. There's a couple of paths that you can take, but I could see this cross from the bottom, so it helped me navigate up here correctly today, even with maps, compasses and digital navigation aids. Still proved to be useful. So I was extremely tempted to make my wild camping debut tonight because the weather's so nice, and I think my sleep system would cope okay with the predicted overnight temperatures, but I had no one to go with, so as I've said all along, I need to be sensible, and the first time I go I need to go with somebody else. So the plan remains the same. I'll arrange something during May. I've had the kind offer of someone who's agreed to come with me the first time and make sure my tent doesn't blow off the hill. But tonight would have been an absolutely fantastic night for it. Pretty much guaranteed a sunset. So I've made it onto White Edge to be treated with some fantastic views over to Win Hill there. Got Derwent Edge in the middle, Bamford Edge, making our way around to Stanage Edge there. I'm going to use this piece of gritstone here to have some tea on, and I'll admire those views while I have it. So I just spent a good half an hour there enjoying the having my tea, enjoying the views over to the dark peak, soaking up a bit of sun. I very rarely walk this time of day. Most of my walks are usually finished by now. I tend to start early, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's just so peaceful. In fact, the last time I was on White Edge, which was a couple of winters ago, it was gale force winds and you could barely walk in a forward direction. What a difference it is today. It's absolutely gorgeous. Right, we'll make our way over to the trig point, shall we? So we've made it to White Edge Trig Point there. I think this must be one of the least visited trig points in the Peak District. Very few people venture onto White Edge. I think they prefer Kerber and Froggatt, which are a stone's throw away from here, but much closer to a car park. I can see some great views over there of Stanage Edge from this trig. The views over to Kerber are blocked by the grassy mound, unfortunately. Right, okay, back on the path now, and we'll head on down to Baslow Edge before making our way back to the car. Honestly, does life get any better? I think I'm the only person on Baslow Edge. Absolutely stunning tonight. There's a few people over there on Kerber Edge, which you won't be able to see because of the focus on the camera. But this is one of my favourite views. Fantastic. I think I'm going to have another half an hour up here. I mean, it's not cold at all. There's a little gentle breeze, but you know, what is it, about 7 o'clock, 7:30 at night? I've lost track of time. I'm just going to sit on this piece of gritstone and just look down into the valleys below. You can almost see where I started the walk from. In the middle there's the Eagle Stone, but just behind it you can just about make out Wellington's Monument. And I followed that path all the way down, over the moors there. I came back down over White Edge, which is there. I'll leave you with a last look of the fantastic Baslow Edge, with Kerbert right in the background. So we can just see Chatsworth House coming into view down there. Right, okay, so I think I'm going to wrap the video up here. I'm just about to drop off Baslow Edge, not literally, that's off the path down back into Baslow. Thoroughly enjoyed this walk. Highly recommend coming out midweek, late afternoon. It's just felt completely different to weekend walking. So peaceful. Really enjoyable route too. There'll be a link to it in the video description for you to check out. First part, a lot of history. Second part, we've got all of the views and the fantastic gritstone edges. So I'm off work this coming week, and I'm hoping to get out quite a lot, sometimes with the camera, sometimes without. I'm hoping to actually do the 9 Edges challenge. It will depend on whether my wife or daughter can drop me off at Fairholmes, so I can walk the edges back, and I will take in Froggatt and Kerbert as part of that walk. So I'll keep you posted, and there'll obviously be a video of that if I do it and take the camera with me. Right, okay, thanks as always for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. I highly recommend you checking it out. I'll catch up with you all on the next video. Goodbye for now.